this is, you guys are going to love, this is my favorite thing. If mankind had to fight an alien species right now, how would he do it? And I've always felt like if I did see a gray, I could just punch it to death. They are very thin and they don't seem like, when you see them moving around, it doesn't feel like their bodies can really, fight.
I just feel like they could they have something like a move, you know what I mean? That's that's what I feel like. They would just bust something out that would just fuck you up,
100%.
But they seem very, you're right, they seem unassuming and they seem like non-threatening, but I think that's by design, probably.
True. Diplomacy first. Then when that doesn't work, bioweapons. We send the dirtiest of dirt bombs to bombard them with everything from the common cold and COVID to straight up anthrax and Ebola. Now note, this wouldn't be my plan. This is just what I think would happen. The result would be they bring some new disease to our planet that we created like idiots, and that becomes a bigger problem. So,
he's written a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie plot.
It's fucking War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise movie.
Is this what happens?
Yeah, I think they give the aliens a cold. The common cold, and the aliens die and leave.
I should rewatch that. I haven't seen that in a long time.
I saw it not that long ago, a couple of years ago, maybe.
I believe that's where he got it.
But I was kind of like, I wasn't really paying attention. I was like kind of doing other stuff. It was kind of on in the background,
Yeah, I think that's where, because the next guy just goes infect them with AIDS.
Oh.
This guy goes, not very sciencey myself. This is the OP, not very sciencey myself. So someone correct me if I'm wrong, if this is impossible. But my first idea is boil them. If a planet, if a planet exists that far away from the sun, they have evolved to survive incredibly cold temperatures. Our only advantage we have over them is our sun. With enough funding and research, I'm confident that we could quickly develop a technology such as thermal rays or sun magnifiers, maybe thermal detonations.
Thermal detonations, maybe, whatever.
Even nuking the planet's poles, anything and everything required to heat up the planet. Imagine how screwed we would be as a planet if someone heated our planet up. Oh, they want to heat their planet up, by the way.
I
we would get there. I have no fucking clue. And I think
they would use the thermal generating.
We would get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah,
I would
by any beings that would be able to come here.
I would think we would be in trouble, but what if it was just the Greys probably like the Greys are like a version of that species, but they have like big ones too,
But how would we go to their planet? That's the guy is like, we'll go to their planet and boil them. It's like, how?
We would need their technology.
Yes.
Which, by the way, like the one theme in almost all encounters that people have with what they think are extraterrestrials is that it's like the extraterrestrials are begging us to stop destroying our world.
And yes, that is very terrible.
And basically, and being terrible to each other. That's like the main message. It's like, stop doing pollution and stop being terrible to each other.
Yes,
and we're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Don't fucking tell us what to do, motherfucker.
Yeah. Because I've always said, if aliens...
give them Ebola for that.
Well, how about this one, Jack? Okay, maybe if you're going to make fun of the COVID guy, what about this guy? I'd soften him up by sending a swarm of 60% of the nuclear arsenal Earth has while they're in space, so we minimize damage to our planet. Parentheses radiation.
60. What are we doing the other 40?
He's holding 40%.
Well, we got to use those. We got to give those to Ukraine. Yeah.
We've still got issues at home to deal with.
Never know.
I'd save the rest for tactical nukes when they land. When they do land, if nukes are effective, start the nukes again.
It is funny to save 40%, but like that there's a existential threat, an alien race coming down to destroy Earth, and we're like, well, what if we have to drop some in the Middle East after get rid of the aliens?
It's true. That is it. Like, yeah, we gotta
even in this fantasy, like, we still would not be united as a human species.
Absolutely not.
No, that's so funny. I love when like people create a completely fabricated like fantasy world, and there's still massive flaws, you know.
Well, listen to this part. Start the nukes. If they land, if nukes are effective, start the nukes again. And then in parentheses, he goes, make it known that we take our own planet before we'll ever be slaves to them. So
yeah, just blow we'll fuck our own shit up. Well, that's a cool,
goes,
yeah. And, again, and the aliens are kind of like, aliens are showing up just like, hey, stop destroying your planet. Like, stop hurting each other. We're trying to give you support, give you technology. What's that one movie?
Close
it's a great movie. No, it's a great movie there where they go up. Contact.
Oh yeah.
They're like trying to give them technology to help the race, and like, you know, and then we're just like, we'll blow our fucking own planet up before we let you fucking do that.
You will not help us out, okay? After they're softened up even more, send in conventional bombing runs and literally don't even let them have any breathing room or relax in between strikes.
Like,
Whilst
such a fucking stupid fantasy.
Childish. Like a kid that just learned about nuclear weapons almost, or like that.
Also, like, what are we even shooting these with? Like, what are we we flying to launch these things? They're talking of as if we have like combat space vehicles.
Fair. Oh, well, I think
like, we don't have
this
that.
is on
Those
the planet.
Exist.
This is once they get there. This is once they get there. So I think we're going to be using all of our military. This is once they've landed. We're using some more of the nukes. Now we're dropping basically
shooting low orbit nukes.
Yes. And basically what we're trying to do, Jack, is we're basically literally trying to not let them breathe. And
that probably would be what happened if we're talking very seriously. Like, imagine there's some group of extraterrestrials and they're like, let's go down and give them our free energy machine that will produce unlimited food so they don't have to work anymore. They're coming down to give this to us, and we just launch all of our nukes and completely destroy our atmosphere. Everybody dies. That would be the end of humanity. That's how I could see it happening, at least Americans.
And we'll be cheering as well, cheering it on.
Whilst reeling from the Air Force, hopefully, keeping them pinned down, bring out the artillery and start doing work nonstop. Keep going till there's surrender or nothing left. If they're only 50 years ahead of us, they'd have to have an almost infinite energy source, maybe fusion, to keep the war effort going. In order to block our weapons, they would have to have some kind of energy shielding, maybe lasers or smaller missiles to intercept.
What is this all just complete fantasy from some dumb guy
sitting in his house? Like, even if they have thick armor for space travel, we can still get through it, I'm sure, with enough persistence. Keep shelling them and make sure they can't even step outside. Draw it out so they run out of resources. Make it so it gets either too expensive or Earth gets so damaged they don't want it anymore.
Too expensive.
Yeah, too expensive.
Too expensive. We don't even know if they use like currency in this way that we do.
Yeah.
This is so. These guys kind of. This guy reminds me of a zombie guy, kind of. You know,
very
just
much.
Sort of, like very much like a zombie apocalypse guy, where he's just like created this entirely, this fantasy in his mind where it's just like
I'll be the most epic survivor.
Yeah. I'll be the guy who does it all, and he's imagining this as like a movie, like Godzilla or whatever, or some shit like that, and he's like the main guy. He's like the kind of guy.
I've seen all the movies. Yeah.
Well, we've got
it's like guys that are just like runners would survive the apocalypse.
Yeah,
all those guys like can't run a block. They would get they can't run. Where are you gonna go? Like, you can't that'd be the main thing. It would just be whoever's fit would be able to outrun the zombies.
We do have a voice of reason here, thankfully.
Okay.
The collective, aka common hominid consciousness. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, and personally, I cannot fathom any more powerful force than a determined mind. Perhaps we concentrate collectively on a target theme, peace or coexistence. What else is there outside of our physical reality that holds enough oomph, which would consider an indestructible physical entity? So we should kind of think about actually not killing them. And
this guy's the guy who gets killed about 2/3 of the way through the movie. He tries to be the voice of reason and stand up, and then a fucking huge grenade just fucking blows his ass up.
Yep. Probably he would probably be like, it'd be friendly fire too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would be one of us. This guy has two options. He goes, option one, nuclear weapons. They remain our most powerful offensive tool, and all UFO UAP evidence seems to imply that, quote, they are the particular threat. Take that particular threat very seriously. Now, I don't actually know how we know that they take our nukes seriously.
Oh, well, there's like a huge amount of sightings that take place around nuclear bases. That's like a pattern. That's a real
got you.
pattern.
So that that's the, I guess.
But
saying,
that's a funny interpretation on the subreddit because like I interpret it as like that they're overwatching us, making sure we don't do something stupid.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of people believe that, by the way, like that there's also been like in history, there's been some moments where like nukes have been almost launched by accident and we've been kind of saved as a planet by just like a miracle, you know, basically like it just didn't work or something. But there's a lot of people who think like maybe they're kind of looking out for us and making sure we don't blow ourselves up. There's a lot of people that think it's us, by the way.
Oh yeah. I saw the people who think that like
which is not that crazy in my opinion.
It's no crazier than thinking like they're always like the first part of evolution, I think always trips people up, which it tricks me up too. Like the very first like bacteria or whatever, you're like, how did that get here even? And like I think like a lot of people are just like, maybe we skip that whole thing and then get aliens here. Like it speeds up the evolution because I think people have a really hard time looking at how old the Earth is. Mm-hmm. You know, if that makes sense. This guy says option number 2, biological warfare. If we have a sample of alien DNA, it might be possible to tailor a virus to eliminate anything lacking certain genetic markers present in Earth life. And then he goes, if both of these options fail, then we have to hope that the 3 world superpowers, America, Russia, and China, are sitting on some really amazing, uber powerful, top secret tech. I don't wish that, by the way.
I love the fact that this is like these alien guys, these UFO guys are like, I fucking hope that Russia and China have some insane nuclear weapons. Like that doesn't seem like a good thing to be happy for.
The OP does want to let you know I'm more leaning toward the bioweapon idea. Each drone we send to Pluto costs around $700 million. I can't imagine we could win a war when each of our bombs cost over $1 billion to fire, especially since many will be blocked.
Well, I don't think money, like if we're battling as Earth against alien species, I don't think we're considering money anymore in that
have
way.
Have you guys read the book Hail Mary? Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't.
No.
It's a really good book. You guys would probably like it a lot. It's like it's about well, it's like the world is coming to an end. Aliens are involved, but it's like about this team that's like assigned to solve the problem, and like money is no longer an issue. It's that's like kind of the beginning of the book is when they're like humans are coming to terms with the fact that like it doesn't matter what we spend on this type of thing. Like we have to get it. It's a good book. You should just read it. There's no point in me explaining a fucking book.
I put it on my Spotify. I do think also like this guy is assuming that we're going to Pluto, which is the first time somebody said like a planet, like because I think they're so embarrassed by the word Martian